Hey guys, well, it's not Musty One, it's not Uncle Tony, it's not Nick's Garage. It's something even better. It's your Valiant specialist here again. So, in the process of fixing this old car's various issues with the body and interior, I've decided to move on to the trunk and address the issues that we find back here. And it's not really got much going on bad. It's a lot better than a lot of them. They're this old. This is a 68, like a 67 or a 69 on up. But these cars commonly suffer from rust in the trunk. Not junk in the trunk, rust in the trunk. That's our problem right now. But this one is, it's not bad. I'm going to show you what's going on with it and kind of identify the common issues for this, what causes this. So, a lot of times when you open one of these trunks up, you'll see in one of these cars, you'll see rusty areas back here at the back. Like this one. You see right here, it's got rust, it's got some right there. It's got, that's fluid film that's over the top of this. It's not too bad through here, but it's got another kind of a rusty corner right there with a hole in it. It's got, look in there, you can see daylight through that seam there. So that's going on. That is always caused by the rear window seal leaking. What happens is the bedding compound that they use in the seal dries out and water goes around the bottom of this lip, around the bottom of the seal, over the lip rather, and it goes right down in there. It goes into the trunk, directly into it, non-stop. So it leaks past that, and that's what does that. That's not from salt. It looks like salt damage, but it's not. It's probably because the car, it might have been sitting on an angle or something, and it just, that's where the water collected. But that's that issue. So the other issue we have, if we look back here, you can see right back here in this rear corner, we have a little rotted spot right there. And an issue right here, which is developing, but I don't think it's too bad right now. That may just be where some seam sealer fell out. It looks like it's rust, but I'm not sure about that. That metal looks too good for that. So, and then over here, it's not near as bad. It's starting over here, but you see how crusty this looks right here. Well, that's ample evidence that what's going on there is the taillight is leaking somewhere. That's what's caused all that. See how that mangy that looks right there. So that's what's causing that. Now that could be actually also partly from the gasket. This gasket looks bad. It's going to have to be replaced. It's bad. It's dried out. But usually on these cars, you just generally follow the rust, and I see a lot more right there. So just got right down in there. So that and this one, same way. Sorry for this camera being kind of in a weird place, but anyway, that's what's going on. And so it's just an ongoing issue with these, but it can be fixed. And one thing we got to do is we have to get our scraper, and we have to scrape out all this seam sealer. This is where they just sealed it, and you can see it gets rust under it because it gets these cracks in it over the years, and it lets water and moisture get in there, and it rots it from the inside out. So it has to come out, every bit of it. So that's what I'm working on this evening. That's the gas tank. This new gas tank I put in a couple of years ago. And it's got a seal right here. It seals all that up. I kept smelling gas fumes. And no wonder, what the heck? The light is not. Get smelling gas fumes, you can see that it's not supposed to be like that. So, so how do we fix all this now? Of course, nobody's going to fix a four-door, but except me. But they made these cars in 2 doors, and this also applies to any other A body like a Barracuda or a 2-door sedan or a Dart or something like that. So if you're watching this, you don't necessarily have to think it only applies to those. So what we have to do is we have to pull the taillights. We're going to replace the gaskets in the taillights because that's probably the whole reason for that. There's a gasket between the housing and the car, and there's another one between the lens and the inside of the taillight. So we get these out, we'll see what kind of shape they're in. But these things they're making, there's a place up there in Michigan called DMT. It's called Detroit Muscle Technologies, and they sell a lot on eBay, and they have the gasket set for like $25 with free shipping. So we're gonna have to get a gasket set for those. We're gonna have to get another seal. They also sell that. It's not very expensive. And we're gonna need to get a new trunk seal because this one, like I said, shot. And this is one of these wonderful glue-in trunk seals. I don't know what's happened there, but a little bit of something you're gonna have to investigate right there too, like the looks of that. Yeah, this trunk's not in bad shape. It's got a little bit of stuff going on right there, but we're not doing the exterior of this at this time, but we will do that. Just wondering right here, what kind of hair is this, you reckon? Is that a dog? I think somebody has been in here put their dog in the trunk. There's hair all over it. And I don't know why it's glued to it either, because there's nothing glued to this. The only thing that's glued to this trunk lid is the missing spare tire instruction label. So yeah, it's not too bad off. All right, guys. Well, that's what I'm going to do. Is right now I'm going to start getting all that crud out of there, the old seam sealer, and probably go ahead and pull the taillights out, and we'll get a battle plan together for fixing this. Now, a lot of these, if you ever see one of these that's leaked in the trunk and that it sits for decades, then lots of times this spare tire well will be just totally rotted out. And this one didn't even, as far as I know, it may have a small pinhole or two in it, but I don't even think it has a hole in it. And that one out there in that gold Dart doesn't have a hole in it either. And one thing to remember also is that these trunks are 3 separate pieces. There's an outer left trunk extension, they call it, which is this piece. It's joined right here. Then you have the main trunk floor, which is here to here. And then you have the right extension, trunk floor extension, and then you have where it joins to the car up there. So you can kind of put this thing together like a puzzle. Yeah, that looks ugly right there for sure, if you can see that. But yeah, that's definitely ugly. Ugly. Hey, I got a welder. We can fix it. So let me dig in this thing and dig this stuff all out and kind of look at it, see what it looks like after I'm done with that. Give me that fish. Just give me that fish. Whoops. Okay, so the battle lines have been drawn here. So I've got this seam sealer crap mostly all something's out there. Mostly all scraped up. That was a fun job, let me tell you. So, anyway, when you're getting into doing the body work on one of these old cars, it's usually a case of, you ever hear the old saying, the best of times is the worst of times. Well, the best of times is that it's not rusted all the way across there. It's not rusted out in here. But it is rusted worse in the corners than I thought it was going to be. That one's not too bad, but I was very suspicious of this corner right here. And as you can see, I started whacking at it with my screwdriver real hard, and that's the result. And then over here, unfortunately, it is even worse. Got a hole in the bottom the hole right there. And this is actually going through behind the bumper, I think. Get my light up here. It's kind of right down in there. So guess what that means? Bumper is going to have to come off. And that bumper's in poor condition. It's straight, it's not dented, but man, the chrome's awful on it. So you know what that means. I'll probably be looking for another bumper if I can find one. You can re-chrome it. I think it's about $350 to $500 to re-chrome one. So I'm going to pull these taillights out and I'm going to call it a night. And then tomorrow we're going to launch into this. So I'll see you then. Give me that fish. All right, I couldn't help myself. I had to take these taillights out to see if I was right about what I suspected was going on with the leaks. It looks like I was. This left one, it looks like it's in worse shape than the right one is. If you look here, it's like that light. Look at all that. That's just aluminum corrosion under the plating. I guess that's aluminum. Maybe steel or pot metal. I don't know what it is. But regardless, where did I ever get that word from? Somebody corrected me about saying that. I don't know why I said that. I don't know what irregardless means. I don't think it means anything. Regardless. So whoever you are, you don't have to correct me this time. Please don't. Thanks. But anyway, look at the gasket here. And the gasket, this is just a foam gasket. And it's squashed in. And it's hard as a rock. There's just no way that it could ever conform to anything anymore. It's turned into carbon. But again, like I said, on these Mopars, you just need to follow the rust trail, and it will pretty much tell you everything you need to know. You look right there, you see how there's a big stain on the foam. So that's probably where some water was getting in. And if we look up here at the car, there's our match to it right there. So it's not rusted out, thankfully, but it's definitely was corroding and probably passing water out there. And then the inside looks gnarly in there too. It's just not pretty. So just if you're fixing up one of these old cars, just count on that you're gonna have to, what is that? I guess that's where they were trying to seal a body seam. But count on that you're gonna have to deal with stuff like this back here, because Mopar historically just did a poor job of sealing things up. And I was looking around my light and I thought I did. You look down in there, see that white spot right down in there? Moving my light, whoops, sorry. That's not a hole, that's just where they didn't seal it completely to the outside. And I think it's got the same thing going on over here too. Let's see, if we look down in there. Where did I see that? Oh, somewhere. Now I can't replicate. Yeah, there it is. If you look down, don't look at the light, but see that hole right there? It ain't a hole. I mean, it's a hole, it's not a rust hole. That's just where whoever funky that was seam sealing this stuff didn't seam seal it right way. So I don't know. It's gonna be fun. At least I'm not gonna be shoved up under the dashboard trying to do all this. That sucked. So yeah, we get the seal replaced too. That's for sure. Because I didn't see this. Not good. I don't like that. Where's my? Yeah. It's not going to work on the outside of this car at this go around, but let's see. Let's probe it. Bring in the probe. Oh, you dirty bastard. cringe when I see paint bubbling up like that. Well, I don't know. I don't know what that was, but that's okay, looks like. Mopar and the damn seam sealer. This, I don't like this at all. Ooh. So what's going on here? Is there an overlapping piece of metal here? It looks like it. This light's not helping us. That's what we're looking at here. Sorry. So anyway, that back there. It looks like we had a piece of metal over a piece of metal over a piece of metal right here. And the top part of it is just looks like it just rotted away. Let's go underneath. Yeah, that's pretty thick metal right there. Well, I'll have to grind it away. See what comes off. Yeah, let's try and do it over here too. Look. Yeah, some kind of, sure is. You dirty bastard, you. Good grief, you get started picking at stuff, you can't stop. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. See, that looked innocent. That looked like there wasn't hardly anything there. And then look, it's all the way through. I predict that somewhere, if this car survives, can't see anything, but if this car survives, years from now, somebody doesn't just take it and strip all the good stuff off of it, but if it does survive, then that's a hole. Great. And I predict the next place it's gonna go away is this deck right here. It's gonna lose that because this is a real bad, area right here on these cars. There's a lot of pieces of metal that are joined together. Right here, this deck and this quarter and the roof up here. A lot of stuff going on right here. So if you ever put water in this, when it starts going away, you got problems. So that's okay. That's why we're here. That's why we do this work. That's why we've been given this task. This is what we do. This is what we live for. It's okay. Well, all right. I'm going to wrap it up for this evening. It's getting a little tired. I had a long day today. I worked real hard. I'm a good worker. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up, and I'll see you probably in the morning sometime. All right, so I spent the better part of the day, or the afternoon at the very least, horsing around this stupid bumper back here trying to get it off. And there wasn't any problem with it except that you got 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts that bolt the brackets on to the main part of the car, and then there's a bolt that goes through there that way with a nut on the end of it, and then there's one that hose, there's the bracket. Okay, well that should give you a clue of what I ran into. The nut that's on the inside of the car is just totally corroded and rusted on to the bolt, and I mean it's not rusted through, it's just rusted. So it's deteriorated. There's just no way to get in there and get to it. So I tried a couple different approaches, and finally my successful approach was to just drill through the head of the bolt from the outside. The bolt's no good anyway because, let's see, I may have it here somewhere. Yeah. This is what's left of it. I made a couple attacks at it already, but I couldn't get a good angle on it, and you can see that that wasn't going to do any good anyway. So that's that. So anyway, there I came in from the outside and just went up and up my drill bits, and then finally it just went pop, and off it came. So I don't know where oh, there it is. It's still in the drill. Oh man, that thing is all the way down there. Dang it. It popped it off though. Man, I tell you, this thing can die tomorrow, and I wouldn't be mad at all because this drill is probably 17 or 18 years old, and it was a cheap drill when I bought it. I don't recall where I got it, maybe at Walmart. And it was made in China even back then, good old Black & Decker. But I'll just say this thing has taken so much abuse. This is the only drill I've used, except I've got a cordless that I use for work. It stays in the car most of the time. Sometimes I'm bringing it in here and use it, but this one is the one I use most of the time. It's not variable speed, it's either on or off. And I've used that thing so hard that sometimes it's actually locked up and I've heard gears stripping in there. But hey, it's still going. So, but anyway, it was crucial that I got the bumper off because, as you can see, that gives me access to deal with things back here, and luckily there's not many things back here. There's just a hole and a matching one on the other side of the car over there. I'll try to work around that bumper bracket if I can, because I don't really feel like trying to deal with that further. I don't think this one's actually rusted through on the bottom, but we're just gonna patch it. Then over here, come here, Light. This one was a little bit worse over here. It's got a few blown out places here. It's all these seams. They don't help anything, but yeah, right here. It's awful crusty right there. See how that's just coming apart? So, I don't know that I'm going to be worried about rebuilding seams correctly under here. But, see, that's actually blown out right there too. See, anywhere stuff can hold any kind of moisture. See, it's blown on the outside too, I think. Yeah. Sorry for that light. It's not doing any favors, but it's... Yep, gonna have to rebuild that corner too. So, now as you may recall, the reason why the green car got scrapped finally was because that it had these issues, but they were much, much, much worse. This was on the green car was all the way across. Every bit of it was just Swiss cheese, and then the crucial part of its demise was that where the spring shackles bolt onto back here was all rotted out. I mean, it was rotted out to the point you could take the spring shackle and move it back and forth. And, you know, I probably could have rebuilt it if I'd had my welder then, but the thing is that you're always chasing rust. So, anyway, probably not going to start cutting anything today. I may start that in the morning, but it's pretty crusty back here, but not rotted. It's just surface stuff. So we'll just clean that up. That's dirt from a dirt road somewhere. And here's a little tidbit. If you're restoring one of these A bodies, I didn't know this, but this thing right here, this is a little brass or copper, like a lock washer type thing that holds the bolt in. So I guess they put the bolts in, and that kept them there. All they had to do is just pop the bumper on and go with it. So that way they wouldn't have to futz with trying to keep everything together. Because one of these fell off over there. A couple of them fell off. They were kind of deteriorated, and I was wondering where those came from. Now I know. I'll look for those. If they're cheap, I'll put them back on. There's that performance single exhaust. So anyway, we're going to progress with this. I think my further plans with this are going to be, I'm going to give it the old car alley treatment and go to town with some protective treatment here. Now normally this car is supposed to be painted body color underneath it. The whole car is painted body colors, but in the interest of, number one, nobody cares what color it is because it's underneath it. Number two, we're not restoring a car concours. And number three, I don't care. I just don't want the thing to rust. Then we're going to paint it with whatever works the best. So that's how we're going to do that. But anyway, we'll get to that and then work our way forward. So I just want to get this knocked out because this is a messy, unpleasant thing to have to deal with. So we'll get that done. And so I'll work away on that. It's getting close to supper time though. I think one thing I'm going to do just to make myself happy, although I'm already happy, you know, it's funny, you see people, they always want somebody to do something for them or give them something to make them happy. I don't need that. I'm already happy, but I guess something to make me even more happy on top of my natural happiness would be, I'm going to go in and I ordered some of those little, I'll show them to you. Well, I'll show you where they go. I don't know if many people realize it, but on the lock button area here, there's little plastic ferrules, I guess they're called. There's some chrome ones, but these take plastic ones, and they just snap in and they protect the, I don't know what they really do, but they're supposed to be there. So I've got those to put on, and that'll be fun. I'll do that. So, all right. In the meantime, let me kind of start cleaning my mess up back here and getting this war zone kind of straightened up. Man, what a beautiful day. Sun's out, it's about 65 degrees. The birds are out singing. It is gorgeous. So, of course, I'm right out here back into this old Plymouth here. And I went over this real hard and heavy with the wire wheel to see what was going to blow out, because usually you'll have obvious things here going on, and then somewhere else you'll have some things that didn't look bad or didn't look like they were there until you start getting aggressive with the wire wheel. And that was this case. I had a hole that opened up there, and I got a couple of ventilation holes right there too. So I went around with my Sharpie and just kind of made some initial area outlines where this, I'm going to try to see if I can fix this in place without cutting this. I will cut it out, but I don't like to get into this formed lip right here and have to deal with that. But this I'm going to cut out. I'm just going to put a patch in there. Of course, this has to come out. There's a wall right here, a structural member, and this is it's metal over metal right here is what this is. There's a piece of metal under here with a lip right where my fingertips are, and then this piece coming over it, and same here. So this is looking rough. I really don't want to get into this, the cutting on this, if I don't have to. I'm going to try to, we may have to put a corner on it or something, but that's, of course, this, I'm not getting into that yet. but went around, just went over everything else, and everything else looks solid under here, back here. No real big deal with any of that. And we come over here to this side, and it's just simply a duplication of what we saw over there, but not quite so bad. This side didn't get it as bad as the other one, but again, we have a, if you can see in there, we have a hole that have opened up right there along that lip or seam. It's not really a seam, it's just a formed, where the metal's formed. And I hit this real hard. I thought sure there was going to be a hole there, but it's turned out there wasn't. This is surface rust under here. And then, of course, we got the same deal over here, but not quite so bad. So, like I said, these are just going to be my preliminary cuts just to get, it's going to be like a doorway opening up here, because as I can see in here, because I said earlier, I thought I didn't have a hole, but there is a hole back here. Like if I take my finger and go straight up right there, there's a hole there. And you can look in here and kind of see what's going on. So we're going to come back. We get some stuff done without, get some access to this. We're going to come back in and go at this again with a grinder and the wire wheel and all that, and see where the metal is too thin to do anything with, and we'll just cut it out. But you see there's a seam right there. That's where that wire got held. Again, like I always say, you know, follow the rust on these things, and you can see there's the water, where the water was. So anyway, it is what it is. It's going to be fun fixing this over here. The bottom I'm not worried about, and get to that, but that hole in the side over there, it's actually supposed to, that one of that far side there, that's supposed to be a hole, but it's opened up too big. It's rusted out. So anyway, but in other news, what am I doing here? I got this thing out. This is the little divider panel that goes between the back seat and the trunk. That's the inside of it towards the car. Just kind of painting that. That's cardboard, and that's not easy to paint really, because it absorbs a lot of stuff. But it's looking pretty good. And gas tank straps, got them going. Rust-Oleum. The other one over there, and the gas tank. Got it painted. So this finish looks kind of strange here, but that's already, it's got undercoating already on it, so I'm gonna paint it over that. And I'm thinking that I'm going to move that building, because I put it here and I really don't like where it's at, because it catches the wind. The wind blows from that direction right through here, and it just beats this building up. You see, it's like a big sail, so it's already torn one of the hold downs out of the ground, and it's just all the time moving, you know, flapping and stuff. So it's kind of hard on it, and just stupid moles or something are digging up under this thing and coming up in here and making these big mounds in there. So I think what I'm going to do is, believe it or not, I may move that car again, and I may put that building with the front of it facing this way, just back alongside, because that building, the big building, will block that, I think. So that's going to be kind of a hassle. But anyway, fun. Let's continue. Okay, then, here we go. So this is what we got to work with after we've done all our cutting out of the bad rusty metal. And a lot of this was not, you know, it was not all rotted out, but the thing is, you have to go back to good solid metal. So there's actually a spot right there that's questionable. I think I may have to come along and get that cut out too, because it's a little sketchy looking there for my taste. So the rest of it is okay. The seams are okay back here. This corner is its own monster. It's going to have to be dealt with on a separate session, I guess. And then this one's a piece there had to come out. Piece there had to come out. That piece had to come out. That's already there. That's for the filter tube. But you can kind of take a look at the metal that I pulled out of it. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't all, that's the outside of it, but it wasn't all rotted, but, you know, had a hole there in that one, and then I think there's a hole right there in the seam. You can see there, that's a cut. And there was some more that just, you know, it went away in places. That's a hole there. This one, what the deal is with this one? This one was just a piece, I think, that came out. Extra piece I took out. Let's see, that had a hole there in the seams. What do we have here? That, I don't know. That one. So anyway, that's basically the extent of it. So that's what we have to work with. And so we'll be making some paper cardboard templates for that. It's going to take a while, but we can get into that, and then we'll go weld her up. So this is all from, like I said, this is all from water infiltration. And the water leaks through leaked through the windowsill, and it sat in the floor back there for years. And right there, just wherever the lowest places were, that's where it went over into the quarter panel, rusted in inner and outer quarters a little bit. So, and back here, that was like I told you earlier, that was from the taillights, most likely leaking. So anyway, I get this done, and then I can kind of spruce up this trunk. Then that's going to be I think that's the major, that's all of it for the inside of this, because I'll do it. I can paint this trunk and all that, seal it, paint it, and put everything back in. I can start reassembling the car, because I've got everything to put this car back together now. So all good. I take that back. I've got a few odds and ends that aren't big things and aren't expensive, just to kind of finish it up. So we'll do that. So I just want to bring you along. So I'm going to turn my radio back on and get my chair out and start cutting cardboard.